There are many actors in the world who are learning accents for parts in plays or movies, such as Gillian Anderson, who did a British accent for The X-Files, Peter Dinklage, who did a British accent for Game of Thrones, and Kate Hudson, who did an Irish accent for About Adam. Today we'll be perfecting our accents in Accents Incorporated by John C. Havens. Hello, hello. Yes, shall we settle? Please, people. Good, good. All seated and ready to learn, are we? Excellent. Oh, I see there are a few rambunctious types in the back who'd like to continue while Miss Peters is trying to run her class. Well, stow it, she says. Time to park your keys or unzip your flapping gums for I come up there and do it for yous. That was a little taste of a Brooklyn accent. Very useful for situations we want to get right to the point. We'll work on that one later. Right then, let's start at the beginning, as starting at the end would mean I would look backwards, which I can do, but I don't think you'd understand it. It understands you think you do, so think didn't I? This is Accents Incorporated. Today I'll be giving you a varied overview of how to speak over half a dozen different accents. I promise you, you won't forget my methodology. First off, is there anyone here who's in the wrong class? This class is for learning different dialects or accents. If you wanted the class accents or making your hatchets momenti, you're in the wrong room. So get out of here, vamos! Right then, let's start with a British dialect, like the one I'm speaking. Speaking. There are hundreds of different dialects, so let's start with London, shall we? Right then, if you be so kind, please stand in your seats and do this motion with me. We are drinking our tea. Very British. Now you'll notice that my pinky is extended high in the air whilst I drink. Why do we do this, you may ask? Is it because the handle is too small for fingers? Not at all. It's because the British are snotty. Say that with me in a British dialect. Snotty. Remember to keep your nose in there and talk nasal. Now, try this one. I'm going to the theatre this evening. Now you. More nasal, try it again. Really be pompous. Excellent. Now take your tea again in the London/British dialect. This tea is divine. Now you. Thrust your head back. More nasal. You in the third row, more pompous. You don't look condescending enough. Right. Now let's move on to something a bit more complicated, Cockney. For a Cockney accent, you first have to imagine that you've been pummeled in the face repeatedly with a large, blunt object. Do that now. You have to look like you're in pain at all times. Now, keeping your face in the same position, repeat this with me in a Cockney accent. Right then, governor. Now you. Well, that was horrible. You have to feel the pain. Lower your voice. Pretend you've been awake for 48 hours straight. Talk slower, as if you've been highly medicated. Now try. Excellent. Although I said there was dozens of British dialects, those are the only two that are really important at all. Plus, they're the only ones I know, so you are now masters of those dialects. Right then, let's move farther north in the British Isles, shall we? How about Scotland? Scottish is a highly amusing dialect that's great fun at parties. Let's start simple with the word G-R-E-A-T. Now, how do you say that normally? Correct, the same way you'd say G-R-A-T-E. One of the hundreds of twisted, cryptic rules of American English grammar. The Scottish would say the word in a similar fashion, but with much more emphasis on the A sound. So instead of great, you get great. Try that after me now. Great. Now, thrust your chin forward as if you had an enormously thick beard that didn't allow you to lower your chin. Pretend you're holding a shepherd's crook. Every Scotsman is a shepherd, even the woman. Now think that whatever you're saying has to be heard all the way down the mountain you're standing on top of. Scottish is not a subtle accent. Let's give it another go, shall we? Great! Wonderful. Now let's jump across the pond to Paris and work on a French accent, shall we? The French are similar to London in the sense they think they're better than everyone else. But instead of raising their noses in the air, they raise their eyebrows like this, as if to say, "Where are your macanche, you silly American tape?" Here's another phrase. "Ah oui, I would like to go to the Louvre." The Louvre is a large French museum where many naked statues are exhibited. The French seem to have the twisted idea that the whole human body, is beautiful and should be exposed at all times. So let's move on. Now, Italian, a gorgeous language spoken not only by mobsters but also by chefs. For an Italian accent, you must purse your lips like you're about to kiss someone on the cheek. Now, take your hand and put your thumb and your fingers together and turn upward. Just so with this hand while you speak, occasionally slapping it in the palm of your other hand. Try this after me now. "Donny, your lasagna has a wonderful ricotta." Ricotta is a type of cheese eaten only by Italians, and only Italian people can make lasagna. If anyone else tries to make lasagna, about a bloody food poisoning is the result. Let's do a few quickies, shall we? Swedish. For Swedish dialect, hop up and down and repeat this phrase. Bark, 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 bark. Everyone knows that the Swedish chef from the old Muppet Show is the best person to learn a Swedish dialect from. If you don't have any tapes of the Muppet Show, get them. And lastly, Brooklyn, which you've already heard a few samples of. A Brooklyn dialect comes straight from the groin. It's not about sounding like you're a swaggering swain who has a brute strength an ox, but can't do long division. This first phrase is a common one you should be familiar with. "Hey babe, how you doing?" Got it? Now you try. You'd get beaten to a pulp if you said it that way. Talk from your groin, people. Try like this. Do you see how I'm almost dancing like John Travolta from Saturday Night Fever? There's a rhythm to Brooklynese. Now try our phrase again. That's it. You need to sound as shiny and silky as hair gel. That's wonderful. Well, I'm afraid our time is up, but there you have it, at least a half a dozen different accents that you mastered. Don't forget all these tricks I've showed you as memory devices. Soon, you'll be able to slip as seamlessly from one dialect to another as I can. Let me show you what I mean. I will now recite the Pledge of Allegiance using a smattering of dialects that I have just taught you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, Governor, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, gamble or bird or something like that, with a little bit of a liberty and a justice, and maybe some of the pizza pie, for all. Wonderful. Now give all of yourselves a round of applause for being so courageous and so bloody ridiculous looking. Come back tomorrow when we'll be acting out all of Shakespeare's plays in under 20 minutes and condensing Webster's dictionary into just 7 essential words. But for now, as a Swedish say, bark, 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 bark.